Alright, yo guys, what's going on? You got Techno here, your coach of the Carolina Pantherians, and we are back with IBL Week 2 up against Ben and his Baltimore Oriolus. So we started off 1-0, and we're looking to continue that win streak going into this week. So his team is actually pretty threatening. It was ranked number 1 in the power rankings, I'm decently sure. And for decently good reason, I kind of think. He's got a team with like Mew, Mega Beedrill, Swellow, Infernape, Weavile, so a bunch of really big threats right off the bat, like for a bunch of offensive mons. Later on in his draft, he gets more passive, but he does have a lot more good bulk with mons like Alomomola. He's got Steelix, which I was kind of afraid of in prep because of my Mega Mawile. He's got mons like Tangela, as you guys can see right here. So he's also got stuff like Clefairy and Sliggoo, though, which is kind of weird versus my team, or versus a lot of teams, actually. But yeah, that's totally fine. Still a pretty good team, so I definitely wanted to make sure that I was able to prep accordingly for a team like this. So let's just get right into what I brought. So I'm going to be bringing a Choice Scarf Entei with Sacred Fire, Stone Edge. I believe it was actually Bodo's that I brought this week, yeah. Bodo's, Sacred Fire, not Bodo's, Stomping Tantrum, Sacred Fire, Flare Blitz, and Extreme Speed. Now, the purpose of this was, one, to not only check the Weavile and the Beedrill if need be, and also the Swellow, but also, if I get a Sacred Fire burn off on the Alomomola, that will help me with my game plan, which is going to be sub SD Mawile with Play Rough and Sucker Punch. Now, Scald will never break my sub, basically, but Liquidation will, so if I get a burn off with that thing, versus the Alomomola with my Entei, then I should be totally good to go from there because he just gets destroyed by Mawile. So that's my big game plan going into this. We've got Life Orb Greninja with Spikes, Water Shuriken, Dark Pulse, and I believe my last move was Surf. Not entirely sure though, I had to build this on my phone and it got deleted, so just a nice little wall breaker versus his team. We've got a Choice Scarf Filialisk with Volt Switch, Hyper Voice, Focus Blast, it might have been Surf actually, Surf, and I think Dark Pulse as my last move. Just because I was kind of afraid of not being able to 2KO Mew, I think was the reason I ran that. I'm not entirely sure. We've got Focus Sash Duckshow with Stealth Rock, Screech, Earthquake, and Sucker Punch. Oh yeah, he also has Rotom on his team, so that's why I did run the Sucker Punch and the Dark Pulse, because I wanted to make sure that I had something to just beat down that Rotom if need be, so that's all totally fine. And then we've got our Tornadus with Dark Pulse Hurricane, Flying EMZ, U-turn, and I believe my last move was Heat Wave in this game. Not entirely sure though. Oh well. Anyways, you guys can see his team he brings here. Sorry that that's up there. Kind of just how it has to be. I'm just going to start the battle so we don't have to keep having that come up. But yeah, I decided that Entei is a good lead. No matter what. 5 Mons don't match up well versus it. And the 1 Mon that does, if I get a burn off on that thing, I'm in an amazing position. So I will gladly take that. I will make sure that by any means possible I'm able to get that burn off on Alomomola so that I am able to just win the game in the way that I desire. That's awesome. That is my Discord. Just another draft I'm doing. So, yep, very interesting. And, yeah, so this is kind of a longer battle, but you guys will see, even with this long battle, the way that the offense plays kind of makes it less long. And yikes, that is volume up. We will turn that down. Very professional way to start this video. Anyways, he's going to lead off with the Beedrill, and I'm just going to lead right off with my Entei. So this is a great matchup for me. I can go right for that Sacred Fire that I was talking about, because if I do that, I have a chance to get a burn off on the Alomomola, and like I said, that is key to the game plan. So I will gladly take any opportunity I can to do that. So I'm going to go right for the Sacred Fire. As expected, Alomomola is going to come in, and I'm going to click Sacred Fire. I'm like, please get the burn. But I unfortunately did not this turn. I get a crit though, which is kind of annoying because it doesn't really tell me that much about the set, but that's also totally fine. So yeah, now that my Entei, that by the way has fucking even HP because I'm stupid, is in versus Alomomola, I want to get out of there, make sure I can go into my Tornadus before he fires off a Toxic, which I don't think he'll do this turn. And honestly, the use of Tornadus is kind of not great this matchup. He's got 3 Mons that outspeed it. The only Mon this thing beats is Tangela, and I've got plenty of other ways to beat it, so I'm like, even if he's Mirror Coat, I'll just go for Hurricane and see what happens. But I do unfortunately miss, so that would have likely just killed my Tornadus off right there. Which sucks, because I get more leeway out of this Tornadus, but yeah, that's just kind of how it is. I'm sorry about that once again. As he goes for a Wake Up Slap, so I've already seen 3 of his moves. He's got Wish, Wake Up Slap, Mirror Coats, and I don't know what his last move is, but this is looking actually really good for my Mawile, because if his last move is Liquidation, then he doesn't have Protect, and if it is Protect, then it doesn't have a move to break my sub, so that's all totally fine. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how I can beat this thing now, since I'm pretty sure he does not protect, because I think you want to run liquidation in this matchup for a few things, or even like toxic or something. I don't think that there's a point in bringing in Lomomola. That could just lose to Entei with the right circumstances. Anyways, I go Duckcho here because getting my rocks I feel is pretty important. His only hazard removal is going to be the Swallow and the Mew, 2 mons, which I'm very happy taking rocks damage. I can definitely just come in with something later and just beat those things down. So liquidation going to come out right there, and I'm going to be left on my focus sash. I'm like, this is totally fine. I'm just going to make sure that this thing like doesn't switch out, 1 on a double, because I don't really want him to double versus me because of how good his team is offensively, and 2, I just thought that Duckcho's usage is also just kind of like not amazing. He can U-turn out with the B-Drill, obviously. You can go for Ice Shard with Weavile, so definitely not, or even just Icicle Crash, so wasn't that too like concerned about what would happen to this thing. So he's actually going to make a ballsy ass play here. He went for Wish with the Mola, and now he's going to go right into the freaking B-Drill, as expect me to not actually go for the Hurricane, but to actually go for the either Dark Pulse or the U-turn. So good play on his part, but what this does mean is I can go back to my Entei, and this is yet another opportunity for me to get that burn. So I'm really praying here that I am able to get that burn, because now that I've seen all 4 moves that the Mola has, I know that if I get the burn, Mawile should just be good to go. So I have to make sure that I do get this burn here, or some turn in this battle, which I think is definitely possible. So let's just see how that works for me right here. I'm going to click Sacred Fire, and bada bing bada boom, we are going to click that, and we are going to get the burn, finally. So after 2 tries, not bad, 50% chance, so kind of expected after 2 tries. So I'm definitely very happy that this happened, because without this burn, I would have been in a very shitty position versus Lomomola, and I would have had to play a much longer game more than likely. But I've got this burn early, so I'm feeling pretty confident with how I can set up on this Lomomola, so it's definitely something for me to keep in mind right there, as he's going to get a crit with Wake Up Slap, doesn't matter at all. He keeps clicking Wake Up Slap, expecting me to go into the Heliolisk or Greninja, so here I decide, okay, well, now that my Mawile is in such a good position, I want to make sure everything's in range of my attacks. I want to make sure I can get Tangela in range no matter what, so it doesn't have to break my sub and be annoying. So I'm going to go right into my Heliolisk here, and basically I expect him to switch out, because he can't have this Entei, or can't have this in very long, because if he decides to sack this thing off, he'll literally just lose to Entei. Like, that's just kind of how it'll be. So I want to make sure I can get some more damage off on mons like Tangela and kind of scout them out and see what they do, as this turn I'm just going to click Volt Switch, as he is going to withdraw, as expected, and the Tangela is going to come in. So yeah, this is pretty interesting. I've got a couple of plays I can make here, but I'm not exactly sure what's going to just kill off this Tangela. Tornadus probably won't be able to kill it, which is annoying, but that's still totally fine. Like, I'm not too worried about like how much damage this thing does. Anyways, Tornadus is going to come out right here, and I'm just like, alright, well, I guess now is as good a turn of any to just U-turn, because he's not going to stay in for my Tornadus. Like, there's no chance in hell that he's just going to stay in. Let's see, did I actually U-turn here? Nope, I just clicked Hurricane. Alright, well, I missed, so that's something kind of annoying, but at the same time, like, it's justice. A Tornadus shouldn't even be alive. So, yeah. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure how useful Tornadus was this game in terms of my game plan. So it's definitely an annoyance to his team, but at the same time, I'm not sure how much that miss just entirely mattered, as he's going to Mirror Coat right there, probably expecting a Z move. I ran that calc, and not only does the Z move not always kill, but also I want to make sure this thing is around, so I'm able to set up with Mawile. And now that Greninja's in, I'm just like, okay, I can get up a Spike here. I don't really see a reason not to, as getting up spikes means that this Greninja is going to basically just dent everything on his team, 1, and 2, it also means that Mawile should just be able to kill everything else after a +2, no matter what. Like, I'm not very concerned with anything taking a hit from Mawile at this point. So my game plan is going pretty well so far, so definitely a pretty good part of this going right into it, as I'm going to go right into Mawile here. I thought he'd either Wish or go for the Wake Up Slap, so I decided I'm just going to go into this thing and see what I can do, as he's actually going to go into the Tangela, and I'm like, okay, this thing can either Sleep Powder or go for Hidden Power Fire, and if he Sleep Powders and I go Tornadus, that's really annoying, so I definitely don't really want to mess with that. So I'm just going to go into the Dugtrio, as my opponent is actually going to decide that this thing is not very good versus my Mawile, and is going to switch into Mew. Now, I could have taken advantage of that and tried to set up on Tangela exclusively, but at the same time, I'm not entirely sure what his set is. He might have just not wanted to take a knockoff or something, and Hidden Power Fire doesn't kill, and also, I'm not sure if he even like has any clue that I'm going to be a subset. Anyways, Mew comes out here, takes that hit relatively well. So I'm thinking he's either Rocky Helmet, Cobra Berry, or what's it called? Or Z-Move. So I'm probably going to click Sucker Punch just to scout out what this thing was. And then made sure that like I'm able to come in later with my Greninja and just kill this thing. But at the same time, I just click Screech. The reason I do that is because on this turn now, Entei will be able to come in, click Flare Blitz, and just kill this thing off. So it's kind of going to be a long series of turns, all leading up to this big moment that I'm trying to pull off with my Mawile, or even my Greninja at this point, because of how like whittled this team is going to be if it keeps coming in on the spikes and the rocks. So definitely not too worried about that, as now I'm not going to bother predicting the Alomomola. It's so passive versus my team, especially because it's a physical attacker with this burn right here. So yeah, getting that burn obviously was really, really important to my game plan, and I don't think it was like relying on hacks, because I had so many opportunities to get this burn in this game. So many mons could come in. He goes Alomomola. He goes Alomomola like every time on this Entei, as you guys can see so far. So I'm definitely like thinking that if he continues to do this, I would have gotten the burn eventually, so it's not that big of a deal. Anyways, Wish is going to come out here, and he's in the same position where he really can't just sack off his Alomomola. If he does, then I'm just going to be able to win basically with my Entei Greninja core. If he doesn't, then I'm able to kind of win with my Mawile, depending on how many plays I make. So I definitely feel pretty good about this scenario right here, as he's going to go right into his Tangela here. Pretty good play, because he does obviously expect me to go for a Volt Switch, and he can get the Wish off and possibly live a hit later on versus my Tornadus or even my Entei. So yeah, good play, as I already said. So now I decide I'm going to go Tornadus. If he Sleep Powders me, that's not the end of the world. But if he decides to go for anything else, then that's also totally fine, because he doesn't really have a great Hurricane switch in at all. So I'm going to fire off a Hurricane here. Gonna finally land one, and it's going to do a lot, but not enough, as we're going to see he goes for Stun Spore, and he misses. Now, as I keep saying, that sucks, but at the same time, I'm not entirely sure how useful my Tornadus is this game. Outspeeding stuff isn't really that important for me at the moment, because the stuff that outspeed me are the only mons that are going to be able to kill me, basically. It's only really annoying for Mew if he is a Z-move, but that's really fine, because like I see right there, he is a Rocky Helmet set. So I decided, alright, since I did take that Rocky Helmet damage, I'm just perfectly fine to go into my Greninja here and fire off a Dark Pulse, because that will be able to basically claim one on his team if I am playing correctly. Anyways, so here I'm going to fire off Dark Pulse, and it's going to do a lot of damage, obviously because this is an Alomomola. Now on this turn, I decide, I don't know what I was really thinking here, but I kind of thought he was either not going to stay in, or like I didn't really consider the fact that Entei would have won the game from here, basically, because I still have that opportunity to miss my attacks. He can still have Scarfer, so I don't really want to risk that immediately, as I'm just going to go into my Mawile and drop it in finally. Well, I already dropped it in earlier, but this turn I will be able to Mega Evolve, I'm nearly entirely sure. It's just going to go into the Frostbite. And here I'm like, okay, natural gift fire or ground or anything does not kill me. I have no worries staying in versus this thing. I have great opportunities to just get rid of this thing right here. I can still preserve my Mawile, and I can get rid of the Alomomola pretty easily, because I've got a lot of mons that his best switch into is Alomomola, which obviously it's not a great switch in, but it's his best. As you guys are gonna see, he goes for Icicle Crash here. I click Play Rough, and we will see. Weavile does what it does best, and he is just going to get the flinch, so that's unfortunate, but at the same time, that damage does tell me he is banded, so I feel perfectly comfortable going right out into my Entei, not risking a knockoff or anything, because I didn't want to take any more damage on my Mawile, because I'd still need that for sub-range if I want to be able to win with it later, and I do intend to, because not only am I dropping Entei after this week, spoilers, but I'm also going to be kind of hoping that Mawile can get a lot of kills this season, so that's definitely a big part of my decision making there. Anyway, so that's going to come right back, as he's going to drop in his Alomomola once again, and it's just the same rinse and repeat pattern. I decide I can't really switch out on that thing. I'm just going to go for Sacred Fire. And here, I really don't feel like risking my PP when I have to go for Flare Blitz again. Also, not to mention, this thing being alive is amazing for my boy no matter what my Mawile, so I'm just going to decide I'm going to go right into Mawile here, and basically he has no Play Rough switch-ins left on his team. Actually, do I go Mawile here, or do I just Sacred Fire again? I'm pretty sure I actually just Sacred Fire again. That might be another turn. Oh well. Anyways, yeah, yep, I'm just going to click Sacred Fire again. So, my bad. I guess I kind of forgot how this battle went out. Definitely happened a little while ago, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just going to go for Sacred Fire, and that's going to be a very good turn for me, as the Illuminable is going to come back in, and this turn is where I decide, okay, I'm just going to drop in my Mawile. He has no good switches to Play Rough anymore. Now that the Mew is so low, he will not be able to take a Play Rough from this range, so I'm perfectly comfortable going into it and just killing somebody right here with Play Rough. If I miss, that's another story, depending on what he goes into. But at the same time, nothing on his team should be able to take this player from the range it's at. So the spikes and the stealth rocks are definitely coming in clutch this game. I feel like they were definitely pretty important to my game plan, and I'm happy to see that they are working in the way that they are, as now I'm going to click the play rough here, and after the stealth rocks and spikes, there is no way that this Tangle is living the hit from this Mawile. This play rough's going to come out right there, and it's just going to drop the Shiokisaki. Yeah, I don't fuck with Japanese names for that reason. Anyways, in's going to come to Mew, and I'm like, okay, this thing can burn me. So I decide, alright, if it tries to burn me, my best play is just going to be going Greninja and clicking Dark Pulse at this point. His only Dark Pulse resist that's left is his Weavile, which is already so low to the point where even if somehow Dark Pulse doesn't kill, I'll be able to pick it off with the Water Shuriken, so I'm all good with that, as I'm just going to click Dark Pulse here, see what he does, and Dark Pulse is going to come out and it's going to just kill off this Mew, which is really good for me. So Life Orb Greninja already putting in work. I love Life Orb Greninja. It's just a beast. As in is going to come the Ace, which is his Swellow, and I'm like, alright, well, getting damage off on this thing puts it out of range of a sub if he is that versus my Mawile, so I'm going to click Water Shuriken here and see just how much I can do. Water Shuriken does 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, please get a fourth. If I got a fourth, that would be amazing, but it's only going to hit 3 times, and he's going to get the defog off, so that's totally fine. I don't really mind that too much, as I will be able to pick it off with another Water Shuriken, and this is looking great for Mawile. At this point, like, I failed to see a way that Mawile doesn't just win the game. So Water Shuriken going to come out right there, and Swell is just going to drop, and it's only going to hit 1 time, obviously, because it's dead. In's going to come to Beedrill at this point, which is basically his only play. He can go on Momola there pretty much, and I decide, fuck it, I'm just going to click Water Shuriken again. There's no way he's going to be like Agility or some shit, and like if he is, then that's kind of whack prep, in my opinion. If he is like Agility with the moves that would be able to beat my entire team, that doesn't make too much sense to me in terms of like how he'd prepare for this game, especially because they have like Golbat and shit, so yeah, that's fine. I only get 2 hits with the Water Shuriken, which is fine. Hopefully there won't be a game where I get not the amount of hits I need to win the game, but let's just see how the season continues on. I'm praying that nothing happens like that. Anyways, in's going to come the Entei, and I'm just going to fire off a Sacred Fire this turn. It does outspeed because I am Scarfed, and yeah, for Entei's last week on my team, it's definitely putting in a lot of work, so it's good to see that. Entei is a pretty good mon, so I don't feel dumb dropping it, but I don't feel smart dropping it either. Made some kind of risky trades to get this thing back, or to, you guys will see what I traded for last week or next week. But anyways, I decide at this point it's basically worth it for me to just drop in Mawile. I can Sucker Punch the Beedrill if it comes in, and if it goes for Wish, then I'm just able to beat that. And here I'm like, ooh, he goes for Liquidation, so it's time to just finesse on this man. Maybe I shouldn't have revealed this in case this happened in the playoff game, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click Sub, and we're going to see what happens. So he's going to go for Wish, and I'm going to click Sub, and let's just see, yeah, Sub comes out right there, and here, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I click SD here, I could have just clicked Play Rough, not really a big deal. I guess, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking here, but luckily it doesn't fuck me over too much at all, as yep, I'm just going to fire off my SD, as I'm going to take sub damage, but it's obviously not going to do any damage to me actually, as SD is going to come over here, and I'm like, okay Mawile, since I just made a really retarded play, hopefully you'll be able to take this hit no matter what with your sub still, and I won't have anything to risk versus the Beedrill. So the Alomomola is just going to keep on taking that damage, as now I can fire off a Play Rough, and this will just O-code this thing. Now I did have a considerable amount of speed on this Mawile to outspeed the Alomomola, but he is clearly running some speed on this thing anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. So cool to note, as that sub does not break even to the next liquidation, which I thought was fucking insane. Malwell is a beast. So yeah, if you guys can't tell, that basically means that this is the end of the game, because Adam is going to come in, and I could just fired off a play rough, but fuck it, I'm just going to go for Sucker Punch and flex on him. So very good game to Ben. Honestly, I felt the team he brought was a little bit odd, in terms of like how he could have probably beat me, with a more offensive team, but at the same time, my team was designed to beat the offense too with my ball while and shit, so it kind of depends on what he wanted to do there, but yep, so good game to him. Definitely, cool to play him after all this time. So yeah, we're 2-0 right now, +8. So next week we're up against Ultraplayer, so be on the lookout for that. And yep, I will just see you guys later. Peace.